welcome back to predictions. I know it's been a while, but this is going to be a pretty short video because I'm only predicting one game, but I'm also going to add some more stuff into this video to make it a little bit longer. Like, we're going to look at how everybody did, the final season recap basically of predictions. So as you can see, I went 0-2 last week. It doesn't show it on here because I put 66 there. So I don't know if I did the math right. I'm not good at math. Hopefully it's just subtraction. So, well, and I used the Google calculator, so I couldn't have got it wrong. But I wasn't really sure how to do it, so I just subtracted 173 minus 107. I got 66. So I'm pretty sure that would leave me with 66 games. I don't know how to explain the math, but it's if you just, because obviously I got 173 right, but I also got 107 wrong. So, and then we just take the we add them together and we get 66. As you can see, me trying to figure this out is pretty sad because I'm not good at math. But I got 66, so I ended in positives. But what I could explain is, obviously I predicted more than everyone, so of course I'd be in the positive. You'll see why this equation works later, I guess. Because yes, I predicted more, so obviously I had more chances to predict games right than people who predicted less than me. And that's why Greg would be coming in second, because he predicted the second most behind me. He got 30, his record was 39 though, you see 124 and 85. So, a little less than 66. So yeah, we're obviously adding in the negatives, how many got wrong for this. So, I think a better way to explain it is if, like, let's look at if Greg didn't get a single game wrong. He would have 124 wins and 0 losses. So then his record would therefore be 124. But because he got 85 wrong, we have to take that out of 124, and then we're left with 39. I sounded a lot smarter there than I did when I was trying to explain mine. So yeah, his record's 39, then Logan's record is 15. Sorry that my webcam's up, probably covering Palomalu's head. But his record's 15. The reason why I'm not putting my webcam down there, because I'm just going quickly right now. I already explained how the math is done. His record's 15. He predicted the third most. And then we have Bryson, the only one in the negatives. He got 10 right and 17 wrong. So if he didn't get those 7 wrongs, then his record would just be 0. It would just even out. But since he ended in the negative, he also predicted the least. If he would have predicted as much as me, I'm pretty confident he would have at least ended in the positive, but that's also because I did predict, I think my worst record for any week this whole season was, for me, I think it was 7 wins or 6 wins. So I still got 6 wins or 7 wins that week. But also I had about 3 weeks where I won 12 or 13 games. I only got 2 wrong. So, yeah. But now we could get into the predictions. Pretty straightforward. I'm only doing 1 prediction, so not very long. I'm taking the Eagles though. I was back and forth on this. I originally took the Chiefs because the Eagles haven't really showed us anything, or I mean, their run game's good, fair play. I thought that if there was any way they were going to beat the 49ers, it was going to be the pass, because we have a pretty good run defense. But they beat us on the ground, so fair enough. So that's why I originally took the Chiefs, because I was like, okay, But that's why I took the 49ers too, because if there was any way to beat the 49ers, it was going to be the pass. And I was thinking, okay, if there's any way to beat the Chiefs, it's going to be the pass. But I thought about it more and was like, okay, I'm just making the same mistake that I did last time. The Eagles have a very good running back, or we should say 2-3 running backs. They have a good running core, is basically what I'm trying to say. Kind of like the 49ers did 2-3 years ago, when their nickname was the three-headed monster. And I like the Eagles more than the Chiefs, obviously. I mean, this was kind of the worst matchup you could get as a 49ers fan. We have the Chiefs who beat us in the Super Bowl and the Eagles who destroyed us last week. So yeah, you don't really want to pick anybody. But I do like the Eagles. I'm obviously not a fan of them, but I'm going to be rooting for the Eagles is what I'm trying to say. But that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna pick the Chiefs to win, and that was kind of my mindset before I thought about it a little bit more. And another reason why is because Mahomes is injured. And at first I said, you know what, Mahomes is injured, but he beat the Bengals, so obviously the injury isn't that bad. But the Eagles, I bet, are going to get a lot more pressure than the Bengals did. And that's not to say that the Eagles haven't faced anybody, because that was my other point going into it, is because we haven't really seen the Eagles, at least in the playoffs. They also had a really easy regular schedule. And why I'm not saying that the whole team, their defense is great, their running game is great, but the passing game is what I'm concerned about. Because if you watch that 49ers game, they could not do anything passing it. Jalen Hurts overthrowed his receivers about 4 times, I think. A.J. Brown dropped it. It was just a disaster, other than Golden Tate, I think it was, caught a touchdown or something like that. Some other receiver caught a touchdown. But Jalen Hurts, other than running it, was not good that game. And I think we're going to see that in this game. I don't know. This Chiefs defense, I don't think it's as good as the 49ers. But then again, the Chiefs defense is always kind of under the radar. You never really, like, out of all the 4 teams going into the championship, you would rank the Chiefs defense number 4, just because, sure, they have Chris Jones, but what else do they have? Like, their defense isn't spectacular. There's not a lot of big names on it. When you see the 49ers defense with all these stars and the Eagles defense with Fletcher Cox and Reddick, you think, yeah, those are the top 2 defenses, and they were. And then the Bengals, you would probably even rank above the Chiefs defense-wise. But yeah, there's also that thing where it's like, oh, the script is leaked, the Eagles are going to win 37-34. I think I'm going to play into that a little bit. I mean, no harm, no foul, right? Like, it's not a bad prediction. The last time we did see the Eagles in the Super Bowl, they beat the Patriots, which was the first Super Bowl I watched, at least watched the whole thing. I probably watched some other Super Bowls, but I wasn't very entertained. So that, I do count that as the first Super Bowl I ever watched, and it was good. I love to see the Patriots dynasty die. So that's why I do like the Eagles. I'm going to be rooting for them. And then we have this cool slide. Eagles win. Not very good quality, as you can see. I expected the image to be a little bit higher resolution, but there we go. Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Okay, I was going to end the video there, but I thought it could be fun to predict next season. So obviously we don't have the schedule, so I'm using the schedule from this season, last season, however you want to label it, I guess. But from the season that the Super Bowl is going on right now. So obviously there's going to be different schedules, so this is like a way too early next season prediction, because I'm not even using the right schedule. but I just thought it could be quite fun to see. So I have the Broncos being first in the AFC, which is a bit of a surprise. I actually, as I do like the Broncos, but as much as I hate the Broncos because they do this every season. I think it's been 2 seasons now of the way too early regular season predictions where I predicted the Broncos in the playoffs. Both years they sucked. Last season I did it. I said, oh, they got Russell Wilson. They should make the playoffs. Nope. And then about 2-3 seasons before that, I was like, oh, they have a good defense. They have Bradley Chubb. Drew Lock should be pretty good. Okay, they're going to make the playoffs, and they don't do that again. So it would not even shock me in the slightest if they don't make the playoffs next year. But I have them winning 13 games. And then 2 seed Bengals. As you can see what happened in this division. Steelers still come out with a positive record, so good on them. I could just talk division by division, I guess. So yeah, so we have the AFC West, Broncos winning it, and then the Chiefs coming 1 game. Last season I didn't even predict them in the playoffs because I thought, oh, they don't have Tyreek Hill. They're going to struggle a lot, but they didn't, so I'm having them win 12 games next season. Although they still are the 5 seed since they didn't win that division. Raiders go 11-6. The Raiders are kind of like the Broncos, as in I predicted them to go to the playoffs last season, and they're supposed to be. They got Devontae Adams, a super team, great. They're not going to have Derek Carr. I don't know how much cap space they have. I expect them to get a pretty good quarterback. I'm thinking off the top of my head. A lot of people think Aaron Rodgers. I don't think so. Think so though. I don't think Lamar Jackson either. I'll talk about Lamar Jackson a little bit later in the video when we get to the NFC. Yes, I did say the NFC, not the AFC. But I think that it's probably going to be CJ Stroud. I think they're going to trade up in the draft. I'm pretty sure they have some draft picks. Or Ryan Tannehill, who I think is going to be pretty good on them if he joins. So I don't know how that's going to go, but I have them going 11-6. Chargers I can't say just missed the playoffs. They're the 11 seed, but they go 8-9. Unfortunate for them. And then the Bengals, we move on to the AFC North. Bengals go 12-5. No surprise there. The Bengals probably are the best team in that division. Unless the Ravens are healthy, then it could be a bit of a struggle. The Steelers go 9-8. Like I said, they still have a positive record, so Mike Tomlin keeps his award. And then the Ravens go 8-9 without Lamar Jackson. I said I was going to get that later in the video, so I'm kind of getting to it now. The Ravens will trade Lamar Jackson, or he will go into free agency and a team will pick him up. I don't think that he's going to play for the Ravens next season, but I still think the Ravens are going to do okay. I think Tyler Huntley is going to be their starter, and I think they're going to win 8 games because Tyler Huntley is a bit underrated. I think that he could win games for them. And then the Browns go 7-10. The Browns are gonna brown. Really nothing to say there. The Browns are pretty much as mediocre as it gets. Then 11-6, the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, I still think will go to the Jets. Although a lot of people are saying he's not going to go to the Jets, I still believe he will. So Aaron Rodgers wins 11 games with the Jets. The Jets have a very good defense. I think it could be top 2 in the league next year. I know that's a bit crazy, especially as a Dolphins fan saying that, but don't sleep on the Jets next season. Dolphins go the same as the Bills with 10-7, but get in the playoffs. So I don't know how that happens, but as you can see, 7-8, so the Dolphins had the tiebreaker. I did have them splitting in the regular season, so I guess the Dolphins just held a tiebreaker, so nice. It's good to see the Dolphins in the playoffs. And then the Patriots go 8-9. That's just a regular Patriots season. Not good enough to make the playoffs, but also not bad. 10-7 Jaguars. The AFC South is one of those divisions where nobody's. The Jaguars are going to do better than they did this season. Jaguars look good, especially in the playoffs. They just need to get more consistent, and they could be a pretty scary team. Titans 8-9. I don't think they're going to have Ryan Tannehill. I don't think it's going to be a rebuilding season either, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Then Texans and Colts go 2-15. Unfortunate for them, but those are just the two teams that I don't think they're going anywhere. Both of them are rebuilding, so they could get high draft picks and keep rebuilding. So good on them. I think it's gonna take a couple seasons for them to get good. And then the 49ers go 13-4. They're the 1 seed. No surprise there, really. The 49ers have been pretty much the same team the past 3 years. Dominant defense. We don't know what we're doing at quarterback. We have a lot of weapons on offense, so we're pretty well set going into next season. Cardinals 7 seed go 10-7. Cardinals fired Cliff Kingsbury. I think that's going to help them a little bit. I think they're going to make some moves in free agency. They lost J.J. Watt. I think that they're going to improve, not drastically. They did make the playoffs only 2 seasons ago. The main reason why they didn't this season was because Kyler Murray got injured. As much as they were dysfunctional, I think that they're going to start. I think they're going to do pretty good next season, enough to make the playoffs. Rams and Seahawks both go 6-11. I could go back and forth with the Cardinals and Seahawks. The Seahawks could also be the 7 seed next season. I think that they're pretty similar teams. And then the Rams, I think, are going to stay and rebuild. They're going to have Matthew Stafford, but Sean McVay, I think, is going to leave, and the Rams are going to be in a rebuilding season. And then the NFC, I don't know why I'm thinking about the NFC North. It's the NFC East. The Eagles go 13-4, same record as the 49ers, but like we saw with the Dolphins and Bills, I guess the 49ers had the tiebreaker. So, yep, Eagles go 13-4, no change there. Gonna be another dominant team next season. Cowboys go 11-6, kind of like we saw this season. Win a lot of games, make the playoffs, but don't get a first seed or first round bye or anything like that. And then Washington and the Giants both go 8-9. So I thought the Giants might be better next season. I didn't do it like team by team, or I should say game by game. You could click on the team and then predict it from there. So that's what I did. So I didn't get to the Giants until I did the AFC first, so I wasn't really paying attention to the Giants very much. But the Giants lost more games than I expected them to. But 8-9 still isn't bad. Same with the Commanders. The Commanders are going to have Chase Young. They're going to be all right. And then here's the surprise. And if you're surprised why the Panthers go 12-5, here's why. Because Lamar Jackson is going to Carolina next season. And that is my prediction. I could be wrong. It's kind of a one that nobody's really talking about, because everybody thinks he's going to stay in Baltimore. I think he's going to Carolina, though. I think Carolina's going to kind of go back to that Cam Newton-esque season they had. I think Deontay Foreman is going to have a good season. Brian Burns is obviously going to do good. I think the Panthers are going to be the dark horse team of next season, winning 12 games with Lamar Jackson. Saints go 6-11. All of these teams, especially the Buccaneers, are in rebuild. I'm not really going to talk about them in depth. Saints, Jameis Winston's going to start. They're just going to win a couple games. Same with the Falcons. Falcons going to be in sort of a rebuild, maybe try to win a couple games, but I don't think they're going to do that great. And then Buccaneers are definitely in rebuild mode. after losing Tom Brady. And then Lions and Vikings both go 11-6, both make the playoffs. Lions a bit of a surprise one, but obviously with Aaron Rodgers going to New York, the Packers are going to be in a rebuild. The Bears go 8-9. The Bears, I think, could be another dark horse team next year, but this schedule was not favorable to them, so they don't make the playoffs. Lions, though, I think the Lions deserve it. Good on them. The Vikings, with Brian Flores, I think their defense is going to do much better. I think next season we're going to see more of a defensive team than an offensive team. But that's enough of, that's kind of disturbing. We don't need to see that. But obviously, I went over all these teams, so now let's get into playoff predictions. Chiefs, Jaguars, we saw that this season with the Chiefs winning. And I'm actually going to take the Jaguars in an upset here. And why I'm doing this, because I think the Jaguars should have won that game, and I think they're going to improve next season for this game in specific. I think Doug Peterson's going to think, okay, I'm going to try to build this team to beat the Chiefs. I know that sounds weird, but he's going to definitely improve his receivers. He's going to try and build a Jaguars team to kind of combat the Chiefs, because he knows if the Jaguars do make the playoffs that they're going to have to face the Chiefs again. It's kind of inevitable. So he's going to build that team to kind of combat the Chiefs. And then we have Jets, Raiders. Oh, this is a tough one. This will be fun if it happens and Aaron Rodgers on the Jets, because he's going to be going against Devontae Parker, his old teammate. And that's a tough game, but I just think that the Jets defense is going to get it done. I don't think that CJ Stroud or Jarrett Stidham or whoever the Raiders start at quarterback is I don't think they're going to be able to do enough on offense. I think the Jets are going to win that game. Then we have Dolphins, Bengals. I'm going to take the Bengals again. Unfortunate as a Dolphins fan to lose in the wild card again, but that's not the matchup you want. I was happy this season because I knew that they had a chance to beat the Bills, a much better chance to beat the Bills than they did the Bengals. So if we did face the Bills in this matchup, I would take the Dolphins, but the Bengals are just the team you don't want to mess with in the playoffs. Then we move on to the NFC. Vikings, Lions should be an interesting one. And I don't actually know who to take in this game, because the Lions defense isn't that great other than Aiden Hutchinson, and the Vikings are going to have a much improved defense next season. But is the Lions offense going to be able to do enough? I'm going to take the Vikings, but I'm kind of back and forth on that. I'm going to take the Vikings, though. I'm just going to trust their defense to get it done. Sorry, Lions. Then we have Cowboys, Panthers. A bit of a tough one. If Lamar Jackson is healthy, I think the Panthers are going to do enough to win that game. And then we have the Cardinals and Eagles. Could be a fun matchup. I don't think that the Cardinals are going to have a good enough run defense to stop them. The Eagles are just going to run all over them. Unfortunate for the Cardinals. Then Jets, Bengals. A very interesting one. I trust the Jets defense more than the Bengals defense, though. And if the Jets have Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be able to narrowly squeak out the Bengals, kind of like the Chiefs did. And then we have Jaguars, Broncos. Should be quite a fun matchup. I'm going to take the Broncos, though. Sean Payton as their head coach, I think, is going to change their team a lot. Jaguars beat the Chiefs. Congratulations. You got over that hump. But playing the Chiefs and then the Broncos is just not a good thing in the playoffs. They have Panthers, Eagles. This could go either way, I'll be honest. I think they're both running quarterbacks. I trust the Eagles defense a little bit more, though, and that's why I'm going to take them. But Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts could definitely have a great running game. in that game. Like they could just run all over those defenses. But I'm going to trust the Eagles just a tiny bit more. And then we have Vikings, Niners. I'm going to take the Niners. Not really any thought there. Sorry, Vikings. Then Jets, Broncos should be a fun one. These are very similar teams. It's just who do I trust more, Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers? Or Sean Payton? Oh, Sean Payton kind of threw a wrench in the works there. I was going to take the Jets. I trust Aaron Rodgers more, but Sean Payton could call up some crazy plays. And that defense, I think, is going to stop Aaron Rodgers, but so is this defense going to stop Russell Wilson. I'm going to take the Jets. I'm going to trust them just a tiny bit more. That's a 50-50, though. And then we have the rematch of the AFC Championship. I do have to take the Eagles. It pains me to do it, but I don't know. I don't know who we're going to have as quarterback. Kyle Shanahan kind of chokes in important games. And facing the Eagles in the NFC Championship game again, that's just tough. It is in San Francisco, though, so that could change things. But I don't know who's going to be quarterback. I don't know. We're probably going to have the same defense. The Eagles are going to have the same offense. Our defense just did not do great. But, yeah. So then we have the two green teams in the playoffs, Eagles, Jets. Should be a good one. I made this point earlier with the Eagles, is that they don't have a great passing offense, and that's why I'm going to take the Jets. Aaron Rodgers gets his second Super Bowl win. The Jets get their first. Jets win the Super Bowl. So that's a bit of a rogue one. If I get this right, even ignore the Eagles, just if the Jets win the Super Bowl next season, that would be crazy. But that's it for this video, so leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to see more NFL predictions. I don't know if I'll do off-season anything. I will make off-season predictions when the schedule comes out. But before that, I think this is pretty much it. So, see ya.